Hi, and welcome to this episode of Collaborwocky. Join our vibrant community and watch our latest episodes at modusinstitute.com/Collaborwocky.
I do want to get to this topic because this looks
Okay.
really good. Learning leaders.
Okay. So the book, the Lead Without Blame book, is about this idea that we are really shifting out of knowledge work into learning work, particularly in the software field and in a lot of other fields as well, but particularly here. Um, and and so there's always a lot to learn. And if we as leaders aren't taking seriously our job in facilitating and encouraging that learning, we're actually getting in the way. Our job is to create environments where people can learn well and fast, and learn from their experience, learn about their teammates, learn about how the system is working, learn about what the customer needs. I mean, it's just one thing on top of the other because it's all changing. What technologies are out there, it's all changing so fast. And if we didn't understand that before, certainly the pandemic drove that home. And so our job as leaders is to be in a space where we are enabling learners, ourselves and others. And that's what we call learning leaders. We're leading the learning. We're helping it move in the direction it needs to go, making space for it to happen. And that comes out of, it comes out of retrospectives. It comes out of Liftoff. It comes out of the book I wrote with Willem, which is not done, 5 Rules for Accelerated Learning. It comes out of the Agile Fluency Model. It's a recurring theme in my world. The writing the Lead Without Blame book brought it really clear to me that my whole career has been about leadership and learning and in groups and teams and organizations. The Venn diagram of those 3 things is where I live. And so that's what we mean by learning leaders. Folks who make sure that the learning that is needed can happen. And hence the name Lead Without Blame, because blame, judgment, shame all shut down learning. They just clamp it down. And so that's why it's important to lead without blame. To become a learning leader is moving away from that as what you think might be motivational, and which some people still do, and moving more toward the idea that we really need to make space for learning to happen. And we have a model that we call the four C's of learning leadership and learning leaders, and it's courage, compassion, confidence, and complexity. And getting knowledgeable about how those things work in our workplaces and in our world helps us to become a learning leader. And we don't get perfect at any of them. We still make mistakes, but gets us closer.
A couple of topics ago, we were talking about language,
Yeah.
and all of the words that you just used are so positive. But how are we expecting people? I love when you talk about, this learning model, learning leaders. How do we get that from organizations, from teams that are big on utilizing the word accountability?
Well, accountability is not something you impose, it's something you accept. And so learning leaders get adept at offering opportunities to teams and in such a way that the team says, we'd like to accept accountability for that. We will hold ourselves accountable for that. You don't need to hold me accountable. I'm accepting that challenge, right? We will work our way toward that. And that's the shift. When it's I'm holding you accountable, it's opening the door to blame. But if we've got these opportunities we'd really like you to work on, how can we make them most interesting to you? How can we help you do the learning you need to make sure that these happen? in such a way that then the team says, yeah, we'd like to take that on.
What if I say, will you hold me accountable? Like because that happens to me. I know what creates safety for me sometimes is knowing that Mark's going to be like, dude, stop.
Mm-hmm. I think you can, on a personal level like that, I think you can ask for prompts. You can ask for, if you see me doing this, will you let me know?
Because that would solve that problem with that other leader too.
But he can't hold you accountable because he doesn't have that kind of power over you.
Yeah, he can just wave his hands in my face and be like, you're doing the thing again.
Yeah, he can give you information. He can give you feedback. We talk a lot about feedback in the book and the importance of really effective feedback. And of course, lots and lots of people have talked about that in lots and lots of ways. But it is very powerful between individuals to be able, and peers to be able to exchange feedback in that way. And
I was going to add, Dave and I have worked on several things together here at Modus, and he's asked for that accountability. Mm-hmm. I've signaled when that's come up, and he's ignored me. So
I didn't say I was going to do anything about it.
Oh.
I just want to know when I'm walking over.
But I had to prove Diana right, so I had to prove her right.
No, I think I do that with people. I mean, and you can ask somebody to be an accountability partner. Sometimes I've heard that phrase used, and it's workout like, buddy. Look, workout buddy. I'm wanting to improve myself in this way. And so could I report to you about what I'm doing? And then you tell me what you want to do, and you can report to me, and we'll help each other along with our goals in that way. That's not judgy.
Yeah.
That's not blaming. That's not, nobody feels shame in that situation unless they really want to. I mean, there are those, I see your note about Catholic school.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
I was just going to bring that up. Yeah.
Some of us use that, but.
I never really thought about accountability as a beneficial constraint.
Yeah.
I think for me it totally is.
Yeah.
I need it.
Yeah. But it has to be accountability you've accepted.
You choose. Otherwise, it's going to, I would argue, it's going to cause learned helplessness.
Right.
Right? If you're constantly having somebody tell you what to do or rely on somebody who's telling you what to do, then why am I hiring you?
Yeah.
Right? Ostensibly, I'm bringing you to the organization for your ideas.
If I ask somebody to help me in that way, it creates safety for me because I know I can just run at the wall as fast as I can, knowing that they're going to pull me back right before I hit it.
Yeah. I've also noticed sometimes that I will ask people, remind me that I need to do or wanted to do or whatever. And I notice that I remember it better if I do that sort of public declaration about here's a thing I need to remember. I often don't need to go back to them and say, what was that thing? I will remember it on my own. But there's something about public declarations too that's very powerful. And I think that's the team saying, we want to accept accountability for this. We are going to hold ourselves accountable.
Yeah. And
then it becomes a mutual thing. It's not a imposed thing.
And react just doesn't kick in. Right? Because if it was imposed, if it's imposed, then we're going to try and subvert that as a rule.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Diana, how can people get in touch with you? How can they find their books? We should plug all that.
Oh, well, how people can get in touch with me is, I'm Diana at DianaLarsen.com. Actually, Onward at DianaLarsen.com is a better way to get in touch with me because I have an accountability partner who makes sure that I follow through on things. Onward. And she would give me those little gentle nudges. So Onward at DianaLarsen.com. You can, if you've got a question or a comment or something like that, there is a contact us form at DianaLarsen.com down at the bottom of the page. We always respond to things that don't come from Russian bots that show up there and that come from real humans. And I've got a newsletter people can subscribe to also from the website. I'm on Mastodon. I'm no longer on many of the other social medias, but I'm on Twitter and I'm on LinkedIn and Mastodon. And on both, I'm Diana. Well, on Mastodon, I'm a Diana of Portland, where people have found me for decades in other ways. And then on LinkedIn, it's just my name. I'm Diana Larsen /Agile SWD or something like that. I can never remember. But love hearing from folks. Love being invited to give internal and public keynotes. The thing that really came to me that I know I love to do and I would love to be able to do more of is sitting in circle with leaders, starting out with kind of an ask me anything so that people can get things off their minds, and then moving into a dialogue circle where we take one of those themes and then work on it, and so that they can walk away with the actions that they want to do. It's a really powerful thing. It's my favorite thing to do. Also a little open space-ish, but
Yep.
And oftentimes very often I've been invited to do a keynote and internally, and then people will have me stay and we'll do 2 or 3 of those leader circles for folks at different levels or that have similar concerns or that kind of thing.
Well, but I'll add as somebody who's sat in one of those circles with you, and if you're listening now and have not done that, you're missing out, because that's where Diana works her magic.
Thank you.
And that's a wrap. Thanks for tuning into this episode of Collaborwocky, where curiosity meets community. Remember, the journey doesn't end here. Whether you're sipping coffee, commuting, or even Gemba walking, lean into the agile rhythm of life, and may your personal Kanban boards be forever whip limited. Until next time, stay curious, stay inspired, and keep those headphones snug. This is the Collaborwocky team signing off. Join us for the next episode on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, or at modusinstitute.com/Collaborwocky.